I now call this meeting of the Amateur Detective Club to order. My name is Tristan Miller, the Saucy Sleuth.
I'm Melissa Meli, the spy.
I'm Tyler Riley, cop and a half.
Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/adcpod and browse the unmatched selections of audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. That's not easy. Go to audibletrial.com/adcpod. I'm listening to and am trying to finish Junkyard Planet by Adam Minter, which is a book about the recycling industry. If you are feeling good about yourself, do not listen to this book. It will make you feel very sad because of the state of the industry. This is what I'll say. It goes reduce, reuse, recycle. In that order, recycling is a last-ditch effort. It is not preferred. So if you really want to reduce your carbon footprint, just reuse and just try to not buy new stuff. I just finished his book, Secondhand, which is all about thrift shops, which is deeply interesting and is obviously more about the reuse process. And that one doesn't make you feel as bad.
But
more
Actually,
like a
pretty good.
thrift shop, if you know what I mean. Boom.
I don't.
Nailed it.
Okay.
but recycling is still better than not recycling, right?
Yes and no. It is better in some ways, but also a huge issue is because, for example, in countries such as China and some African countries, there are no regulations about environmental, safety. One of the reasons when you look at China, it is the biggest producer of like greenhouse gases, et cetera, is not only because it is one of the largest countries on the face of the planet, but also we send all of our garbage there to be smelted down.
Oh, yeah.
We send all of our garbage there, and so it's like this vicious cycle. So, like, it's good in theory, but it's also damaging in other ways. It's really a complicated ethical issue.
That's why there's a book about it.
Yep, 100%. There's also a couple choice documentaries. Also, it's a lot harder to recycle than people realize because you need to sort the recycling into different bins.
Yeah.
Or different, luckily in New York, if you're living in a nice apartment like I am, they have them labeled. So it's like cardboard goes here, plastic goes here. This is what I'll say. Hot tip about recycling for our mystery podcast. Do not put your plastic grocery bags in your recycling. They gum up the machines and it makes it harder for everyone. If you're gonna try and recycle them, put in a bag of bags and put them next to the bin.
Oh, yeah. A lot of places like grocery stores have like plastic bag recycling bins.
Yes. Because they gum up the whole thing, and it's just a nightmare. Also, luckily in New York, no one's adhering to it, much like most laws in New York. There's a plastic bag ban. I was very happy to hear when that happened, and then the pandemic hit, and I'm like, well, maybe this isn't the most important thing.
Yeah, it's made it pretty difficult to. The prioritization has kind of shifted a little bit, but it's still important. The environment is still extremely important, if not more so, honestly. And we should probably, especially now that we've been in this for a while, get back to that. This has 100%. Been your PSA for the program. I don't know if we'll get on another tangent about it, about some other major world concern, but we might.
Yeah.
Everything is on the table. Oh, please.
Yeah. My father and I do a monthly podcast that you and I used to do, Melissa, called Blank History Month. And the archives are also available on my Patreon. So if you like Melissa and me talking, you can go there. But we recently covered recycling, and it's like an hour and a half long. So if you want to get into it, pay $1 for 1 month on my Patreon. Listen to that one episode and then get out. But yeah.
Yeah.
And that's patreon.com/Tristan J. Miller. It's different than the ADCP, the pod one. So, today we're watching something.
We are watching Series 5, Episode 7-ish? 7? Sounds right. Of Agatha Christie's Poirot. The episode is called Dead Man's Mirror. And it first aired February 28th. Why can't I read today? 1993. And this is a pretty new story to me. I don't think that this is a short story that we've read at all.
No. Oh, also, Melissa, you're coming in from a different place that we're all normally in different rooms and apartments, but you're in, where?
Yes, I'm in Pennsylvania, a little town called Sterling. My boyfriend has bought a bunch of acres, 10-ish, out here, and he's building a house. And so I am in a little, he calls it a cabin. It's like a very large pre-built shed that he had commissioned for him. And it's like a little one room. It's going to basically be a guest house once, you know, the main house is ready. But yeah, I'm in this charming little cabin. And if I stop looking at you guys at any point, it's because I'm staring off into the woods because there's nature here. It's pretty.
Well,
Fair.
if you look into the camera, there's nurture here. So, you
Aw.
get both.
That's so nice. Every once in a while, something like in the morning, a little bunny passes by the doors. The glass doors. It's real nice.
But yeah, I don't think this is based off of a short story or anything. It was a new story to me as well. So, Tyler, was it a new story to you?
No, I had read this several times before.
Oh.
It's the shortest of Agatha Christie's stories, as, you know, most experts would tell you.
Okay.
You know, she wrote this during her disappearance. She came back high as a kite, and
It's the only way to write.
Yeah.
What
it
is the
inspired
reviews?
Stephen King.
Yeah.
Agatha just blazing trails and drugs.
Yeah, there you go.
Heard it here first.
Yeah,
Yes,
the estate's
because
gonna come
it's-
after.
Yeah. You heard it here first is definitely a thing you can say about anything you make up.
That's fair.
Oh boy.
All that was alleged for legal purposes.
Right,
Yes.
of course. It does seem to be a short story based on one user review on IMDb, but it's not one we've encountered before. So brand new to us.
So yeah,
Yes.
we begin at this auction house, and people are now bidding on this pretty nice mirror.
It is pretty nice, isn't
It's
it?
pretty nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Poirot even bids on it. It's he and Hastings at this auction house. And then Poirot gets into like a bit of a bidding war with this gentleman behind him who seems to be happy like sticking it to Poirot by like he keeps outbidding him.
Mm-hmm.
The auction's over.
Yeah.
The gentleman comes up to him. He recognizes him as one Hercule Poirot. And he wants to hire Poirot for, he believes he's being frauded by this man. And Poirot is like, and he was like, you know, you can come by the house tonight. And Poirot is like, no, like, I have things to do. The guy's like, all right, what about the next day? And Poirot's like, I have a life and a job. Like, my days aren't just
do
empty.
believe I'm washing my hair both of those evenings.
Yeah,
For real.
exactly.
But he ends up becoming intrigued because Chevrix is like, because Poirot says, I do not come at like a low cost. Like, I'm not inexpensive. And the guy's like, oh, I might even throw in the mirror if you do this job. And Poirot's like, fine.
Okay.
Like a petulant child.
Yeah.
Enfant terrible.
Exactly.
In the next shot, we move on to this courthouse. It didn't seem like a church, did it? For this,
no, it was definitely like a little courthouse
Yes.
or town hall or whatever. It was very sparse.
If you could believe it, it was a boat.
But we've been, by the way, this episode has some really fascinating music.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yes, it does.
It's like creepy chanty ghost monk music or whatever.
It's a perfect start to
Yeah.
October. As of this recording, it's October 10th, 2020, and it's a Saturday.
That's right. And yes, it is very spooky, and they're playing spooky music over this wedding scene. They are Chevenix. So it's Ruth Chevenix, which is we had learned that the guy bidding on the art was Chevenix. So it's like, oh, what's the relation, I wonder? And then John Lake is the man. So they get married and they go outside and she gives back the ring like immediately. She's like, okay, cool. We did that. Sorry it has to be like this, but we'll come back to this later. This marriage, I guess.
Do you want someone to pick out the ring with you, or do you want it to be a surprise?
I want a strong influence in what the ring looks like.
Yeah,
But I want to be somewhat surprised, but like I do need them to know specific things that
What about you,
I
Tyler?
don't like.
I mean, I suppose I would want like my partner's influence before I bought them a ring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to, get something they don't want to wear.
Yeah. I always wanted to make one. Not for the wedding ring, because that's a little bit more, I guess, special, but for like the engagement ring, going to a forge and like learning how to make one.
Oh, that's
Which is like
adorable.
Yeah, it's very sweet conceptually, but if I'm shitty at it, oops, if I'm terrible at it,
I love you so much. I made you this bad ring.
yeah, it's like, did you even look up my size? Nah.
How is it a
You got tiny
rectangle?
hands. Thank you for the dodecahedron. It is not. There's no hole. You've made me a what looks to be a musket shot.
Oh my goodness.
But there's this creepy lady watching these two young lovers that have just gotten married by Elvis Presley, and that's all we get of that.
Yep.
We are on the train to London, where we meet Susan Caldwell,
Oh, right. Okay. Yes.
the not fiance of Hugo Trent, the nephew of Mr. Chevrix. And we
Right.
find out that Chevrix wants Ruth and Hugo to marry. We know that can't happen, but they don't know it can't happen.
Right. And Ruth is adopted. She's the ward of Chevenix.
Yes.
Yeah. So Susan says, I guess he thinks that if Hugo marries her, that, she'll be more a part of the family or whatever. But literally no one but him wants this to happen. But he's dead set on it. So,
Oh, he is dead set on it, isn't he?
hey,
no, spoiler already.
It's called Dead Man's Mirror. I can't.
Well, we don't know who the dead man is. The dead man could have been living inside the mirror. It's a spooky episode.
Oh God, that'd be so cool.
That would be great.
Now I'm mad that it's not that.
So yeah, we're on the train, and then we arrive, I suppose. Yes.
Yes, we arrive at the station where Hugo is waiting for them.
Yes.
Right. And Hugo has his own little business that his uncle doesn't approve of, but and he's been fighting
furniture.
Yeah.
I hardly know her.
Ooh.
Okay.
That can be taken in a way.
She has a fur niche. Her.
Uh-huh.
I adore a mink. I simply cannot get enough.
No, it has to be niche, so it has to be like squirrel or like
Okay. Have you ever had an iguana skin hat? That's not fur, is it?
She wears hedgehog.
Yes. Do you enjoy my porcupine fascinator?
Oh, that would be so cute. But like only if it was alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got you thinking
just
about a
remember
live
the time
porcupine on someone's head now, don't I?
Yes.
I just remember the time I ruined the Museum of Natural History for you.
Oh yeah, go back and listen to our ABC Murders episode.
Yeah. Glad you remembered what it was.
Yes. So we are looking at the furniture, and Poirot thinks it's dope, and Hugo has been struggling to get it to this point because he's getting so much resistance from his uncle, and no one likes this guy. Is really the thing that we are meant to.
Before we continue,
to be taking.
like going back to this man and his furniture design, like I get horny for metal as well. Not quite to the extent as this man is for like actual like physical metal. Like the way he is like touching it, stroking it, and looking at it while speaking to Poirot is deeply uncomfortable in the best way.
I mean, he's just passionate about his craft.
Oh, he want to craft something for passion, I'm sure.
Lay, lady, lay. Have you ever seen a big slab of palladium before? Oh, I'm a big fan of that. Big iron.
That's right.
If I can't be sexual on this podcast, where can I be?
Oh, you can.
On Blank History Month.
With your dad.
With your
Yes, with my papa. Oh,
Obviously.
my papa.
The perfect place.
So they're like, he's like, nice furniture, and he's like, thanks, and then they go to the manor. We're finally at that manor.
Not quite, because he gets a call from the creditor, which lets us know that there's some issues and some possible motive for the crime that is to later occur. It makes him look a little like, oh, he's desperate.
When they arrive at the manor, once again, very spooky music is playing.
It is the most, like, it's the oddest scoring I have ever heard. Because at first I thought it was the car, and then I found out it was not the car that was making that noise. That was the score.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
super strange.
it's like tense and ooh, and then Hastings goes, quite a place, isn't it?
Yeah.
It so doesn't match.
It's so funny. Hastings is really funny in this episode.
They like really...
Hastings is really funny in this. So there's this woman that they meet out on the lawn who is obviously my favorite character. Because she has like, she's just gone, she's a little bit of an older woman, and she has just gone full tilt spooky. Like, she believes in talismans and her spirit guide and all of this like ghost stuff. Some kind of problematic treatment of Egyptian artifacts, but the spirit of what she believes in is like, big witch energy. And she does not care what anyone else thinks, and it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah. And I do like the Egyptian thing as a callback to the first episode of this season.
Yes.
It's
we did skip a bit.
Okay.
Because of the gongs.
No. Well, I mean, like the gongs are mentioned in the preceding scene, but we are also introduced to an important character in the previous scene, which is Mr. Chevrolet.
Yeah.
Chevrolet Blazer.
Chevy, if you will.
Introduces us to his research assistant, Mrs. Lingard.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that was the previous scene.
And we also get introduced to more of the plot, more of why Mr. Chevenix wants Poirot there, which is believed he's being frauded by John Lake because he gave him money to develop this property, and he believes that John hasn't done anything at all to actually start the project. He then calls John into the room, introduces him to Poirot and Hastings, and then has John take them out to the garden for tea, which is when we get introduced to that wonderful, wonderful character.
Yes.
Vanda.
She's what? She's like the sister?
She's the wife.
Oh, the wife. Oh, they're married. Huh.
Yeah.
Shirley MacLaine's got nothing on her.
She has some like light Judi Dench vibes.
So Shirley MacLaine is a full occultist, like in real life, and does seances constantly. And
Which
everyone in the
she
70s
was brilliant in Nora Ephron's Bewitched with Will Ferrell and Nicole Kidman.
She truly was. She was so good as Endora. That movie, I don't know. I enjoyed it, but I'm also a fan of the original series. So
Same.
It was
super fun.
Yeah.
Super
Wasn't
fun.
great, but it's fun and it's a good time.
It's fun. Yeah, not everything needs to be. I don't know. What is a good movie? Citizen Kane?
Yes.
Allegedly.
More like Citizen Plane, am I right?
Citizen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
The mashup
Steve
we
Martin.
never knew we needed.
Oh, I need it so bad.
Right?
Steve Martin
But
going,
Mater
he hates this sled.
Mater must be Citizen Kane.
Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, no, like I was talking to somebody, like most art is average by the rule of averages to bad. It's really hard to have good to great art. It's really, really hard. So when something is average, okay, fine, that is, to me, fine, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah,
it is
like,
perfectly acceptable.
You did it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a movie that I could watch and I enjoyed at places.
Oh, I see. I thought you were talking about like actual, like visual art, because this is what
Art and entertainment.
Yeah.
On average is average.
Fair enough. Like, average can be good.
Yeah, it's serviceable and it's not bad. It's like enjoyable. It's still like average stuff is still is like, you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Yes. Say that again for my boyfriend. Average is.
So this is me speaking direct. What is his name again? I'm so sorry.
Brian.
Brian, listen, Brian, buddy. Average is still enjoyable. It's adequate. It's dependable. It's reliable. It's always there. You can never not have an average. bear that in mind moving forward.
Yes. You know, I have the Nissan Altima of...
I'm truly a Honda Accord of personality.
Is that what we're talking about? Are we talking about personality?
Yes, my mother
Yes,
listens to this program, Melissa. What else do you mean?
You can infer, imply whatever subtext you would like.
I just wanted to clarify. Yeah.
So they meet this wonderful woman who's just absolutely into the occult, and John is his name or something?
Yeah, John. Oh, and we also get a proper introduction to Ruth as well.
Yes.
And John is like, don't bother Poirot with this. And Poirot toes this line. Poirot toes this line so often where he is like fascinated with the occult and he will always be on board, which I enjoy a lot because there is this thing where like people would assume someone who's like so methodical, so logical would be like, no, that's silly. And it's just nice. And he also obviously uses it to his advantage when solving cases.
Yeah, he does. And it's also one of those things where even if he doesn't subscribe to it, he's respectful that other people do and uses that to his advantage when solving the cases. And it's like someone's religion. Even if you don't believe in it, it's like, okay, but why do you? If it's serving you and you're not hurting someone, then okay. That's fine.
It also, I think, in the context of the show, is indicative of he's building a psychological profile of everyone around him.
Of course, yeah. And so he wants to, so he asks probing questions because he always wants to know.
Mm-hmm. He's nosy. He's a nosy little Eggman that I love so much.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just a picture of Poirot that says nosy little egg boy.
Available next month on our Teespring.
Why do I keep creating more work for myself every time I open my mouth?
Well, you can have fun with that one too. That's a good one.
I think it's an excellent idea.
Ooh, what the shell are you talking about?
I can't remember his name, but it was a Batman villain from like the Adam West series.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And he would say things like that and like, they'll never crack this hard-boiled case.
Oh my gosh. Yes, there sure was. I loved
Eggman Batman.
I love that Batman series so much.
Egghead is the name of the villain.
Egghead, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
So good.
Egghead. A perfect Batman series. I think we can all agree.
Yes.
That was my intro into Batman, and I will love it forever.
You'll love Batman forever.
That's right.
Ooh.
So
Don't
you're getting ready.
kit around with my Batman. Eartha Kitt was Catwoman.
Yeah. I got it.
Oh yeah.
That was absolutely perfect.
Yep. A line
Santa
that
baby. Wait, that didn't work.
Sorry,
though.
I'm robbing you of all these great puns.
Oh.
So they're getting ready for dinner, right?
Sure.
Yes, they are.
And
And
hear
everyone is being hella suspicious.
Everyone's mad sus.
Yeah. As you say.
Yes, as the Ute say.
Mm-hmm.
You're such a silly Billy sometimes. I love it.
So Hastings is like, did you hear a gunshot? And Poirot's like, no. No, he goes, do you hear the gong first? And he's like, no, what are you talking about? And then Hastings goes, did you hear a gunshot? He goes, no, what are you talking about? But then they go and explore the office, and a couple other people have heard both the gong and the gunshot. And they burst open the door.
And here comes Susan. Oh, I love her. It was just like, it's a car backfiring. Like, everyone calm down.
Yeah.
And like more people arrive. And they're like, you hear the gunshot? She's like, there's a car. There are so many cars outside. It's a backfiring. Like, just calm down, everybody. Like, it's not that serious. Like, she is just so about cars backfiring. And it's so dumb, but I loved it so much.
No,
how
it's
insistent
good.
she was.
Yeah. It's also very, like, the energy you get from pretty much everyone who lives in New York City. Because, like, no one ever thinks anything is a gunshot because so many sounds happen.
Yeah.
It should also be noted that Ruth has lots of mud on her shoes.
Yes. She's a muddy girl.
Poirot notices.
But she's there to really muddy the plot. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, seriously. And
I'm so sorry. When I say something stupid, Melissa will give me this look, this beautiful look of like, yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Quit being nasty. So they break down the door.
he's open on a book. No, he's on an open book at his desk. Shot in the head, blood all over the book.
And Poirot looks back at a point and sees Vanda picking up something off the ground very quickly and tucking it away.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the gun is in his left hand. It appears to be a suicide.
Gun in my left hand must be a suicide.
Hoping you were going to say that.
Yes. The gift that keeps on giving.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all like, "Ah, dang."
And there's a suicide note.
That just says...
It says, sorry.
Short and to the point. Gotta love it, you know?
Just says, I'm outie.
Bye.
Peace. 2 fingers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is,
They discarded the second note that said, "Oh God, not like this."
Oh, no. Just says, sorry. Sorry for the inconvenience.
I know.
About to commit suicide, please advise. Now, here's the thing.
I stole the cookie from the cookie jar.
Here's the thing. We are recording this on National Mental Health Day. This has all been well and fun. But as someone who is an advocate for mental health in general, if you're feeling blue, try to reach out to someone. Okay.
Yeah. It's true.
Fun and games over. Sincerity over. Jap shows up.
Just Jap. Ah.
What their sandwiches like? There's a nice tidy end to the whole business.
And he's like, looks like a suicide. Cut and dry. He looks
And
like
he
he
has
shot himself.
He has a fantastic entrance in this episode.
Does.
Like the fog behind him and the way the light's coming off. Oh, it's
They
so
know.
good.
They know what they got with Philip Jackson.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's very in character, as well. His whole deal is very. This is what Jap is here for, and he's here to say that it's a suicide, so that Poirot can be like, but
is
what
it?
if it's not? And in pretty short order, Poirot points out a couple things to Jap to say, well, okay, yeah, but do we know that he was left-handed? And I'm pretty sure he's right-handed. And then also, where the heck is the bullet? Because it's not in his head or nearby.
And it's not in the mirror, the beautiful mirror that has been shattered. I expected Poirot to be like openly weeping about the mirror or mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted that as well.
Yeah, because no one liked this guy. It's not that sad. So
You heard it here, folks. If you're unlikable, if you're morally bankrupt as a person, Anyway, Tyler.
Definitely not thinking about anyone
Particular. Several people in particular who were all in one place together.
But so after Jap was like, yeah, this is a cut and dry case, blah blah blah. Like they split up for a bit.
Yeah.
Because Jap is like, oh, well, I mean, he was completely locked in by himself. Like, there's no way. And then he leaves. And Poirot's like, Hastings, let me show you how these doors can lock without,
Yes.
can lock from the outside.
Yes.
And that's where they find a pair of footprints outside.
Before that, we get the first of Hastings saying, "Good Lord."
I thought it was a reference to the footprints.
I thought it was the door. Either way, they happen in quick succession.
Yes.
But it's real good.
It's real good.
Yeah.
Very good delivery from my man, Hugh Fraser.
And it's nice that it's not in reference to a pretty lady this time. Very refreshing.
Yes.
We're low on the sexism in this episode, by the way. There's not as much misogyny in this one.
Yeah,
nice.
I mean, like the uncle's just like trying to get. Oh, sorry, he's just trying to get his ward to marry a certain person, and other than that, like, not a lot.
Yeah.
Ooh, they stocking up for the season finale.
Ooh.
I know, they must be. But yeah, he's equally offensive to all genders.
We also, as that's happening, Jap attempts to interview Vanda.
Oh,
and
gosh.
It's probably my favorite scene of this series.
Oh god, it's so good.
Oh.
And she's talking about her spirit guide, and she says, "Oh yes, she used to live in Egypt," and Jap says, "Oh, so she moved?" And she says, "No."
No. She's
And then it just
yeah, because she's like, whatever the person's name is like, oh, they
Safra.
told me. Sorry, what?
Safra.
Safra told me all about the murder. Mm-hmm. And he's like, really? Can I contact this person? I was like, no, she's on another plane. I was like, oh, what plane did she take? It's like it's like Abbott and Costello like level of dialogue.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Chef's
It's great.
kiss.
It's very, yes. It's also very, like, indicative of the fact that Jap operates on, like, a totally mundane plane of existence. Like, there is nothing magical in him.
Yeah, he's just, so straightforward, so simple.
Yep.
Not unintelligent, but simple.
Yeah.
Beautiful character.
So good.
So good at being the straight man.
Vanda is somewhere totally different.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Truly ethereal.
They are not having the same conversation.
No.
Not in the slightest. But we find Susan and Hugo in the dining area having a drink, and Poirot comes into the room and starts asking him about this open champagne bottle.
Yes.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, no, we didn't open that. This was here. Like, we have our drinks. And Poirot's like, oh, it's open, but no champagne has been poured.
Yeah. You did not feel like celebrating?
The dead. That was very good.
I mean...
Oh, and this is... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I mean, it would have been kind of appropriate for them to be happy about it.
Oh, yeah.
Pushing this marriage and all of the oppression, that they've been experiencing from this.
These well-to-do whites, all of the oppression.
Right.
Oh, oppression.
Oppression, where art thou?
Yeah. Truly.
From there, Poirot, Hastings, and Jap reconvene. Poirot asks those questions to Jap, and then Next thing I have is Poirot interviewing Ruth about...
But also, in that scene where they come back together, they explain... Hastings explains the situation with...
Yes, with Vanda. Yeah.
Yeah, and Philip Jackson almost turns to the camera. It's so good. Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah, it's great. Very beautiful. So he's interviewing Ruth, who, by the way, this actress looks like a young Sarah Paulson, which I enjoy a lot.
Good for her.
I thought she looked like Miss Honey, whoever that was. From Matilda.
Oh.
Let me give a quick... You keep going.
But yes,
I
definitely see the Sarah Paulson when you said it. But like my first... Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's interviewing Ruth about the footprints. Ruth is like, no, like I dropped a brooch earlier and I found it there. But like, yeah, like it fell into like this patch of dirt, like this garden area.
Right. She was like picking flowers or something earlier.
Yeah, and then she's like, well, if you don't believe me, you can ask Mrs. Lingard because she was there.
Yeah.
She saw me like come into the living room.
Right.
And I think from
Davids is the name of that actress.
One more time?
Embeth Davids.
Oh, that's
very
Miss Honey?
interesting name.
Yes. From Lafayette, Indiana.
Oh. And meanwhile, Ruth Chevenix is played by Emma Fielding.
Oh,
Not
very
the
nice
same.
name.
So there you have it. All different people.
So Poirot and Hastings interview Mrs. Lingard. And they're like, so we just spoke to Ruth, and she said that you saw her come in. And they're like, oh, yes, I saw her. And it happened before the gunshot.
Right.
And it's just like, okay. Like,
Yeah.
Cool, dude.
it's believable, but like still some doesn't quite feel right.
Yeah.
Then off
And
to the
she's-
modern Museum of Art.
Right. And Miss Lingard is still with them, right?
Not at the museum.
Oh, okay. So before that, Miss Lingard is like inventorying the paintings for of Chevenix.
Yes,
you know.
you're right.
And they say you're continuing with your work even though he's dead, and she's like, yeah, well, I mean, it's still got to get done. And this painting is so sad, and it like looks like a mother with her sick child in bed. And she's like, this is such a sad, beautiful painting. You know what it is to lose a child. It's so difficult, of course. Yeah. So we get that exchange between them.
But when she says it's a beautiful painting, it cuts to Poirot, and he gives this look of disdain, where he's like, you clearly have no taste in modern art.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Very fun. Yes. So then we have another interview?
Oh, we are back with Jap. And Jap, you ready for this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Decides Poirot was right the entire time. It wasn't a suicide.
Holy
Can you believe
crap.
it?
Yeah, I know.
Can I tell you
that,
something?
but
He looks good in this scene. They gave him a nice suit. He's got his hair parted. It's become very clear that they're like, okay, we have one cast member that has good hair. So we gotta make a stink about it.
It's true.
It's true. But yes, it's not a suicide because he was right-handed, which Poirot knew because he handed his card to him when they met with his right hand. And when he was doing the inventory, he was writing with his right hand.
Yeah.
And they can't find that darn bullet. And during the previous interview, Poirot was like, I saw you bend down and pick something up. What was that? And she hands him something. He's like, oh, it looks like a bullet. And she goes, I thought so too, but it's actually a cufflink. So
Right. And it's so funny because the way she holds it initially, she has it like the bottom piece is in the top of her hand, and then the top of the cufflink, the part that you look at more, the part that is the more prominent end of the cufflink, right, is like beneath her hand.
Yeah.
So she like flips her hand over to show the actual cufflink. It's very strange. It's like, why would you show it to me like that to make it look like a bullet? Okay.
It's so weird.
I've been practicing my sleight of hand, you see.
Yeah.
And,
Right. The other side is so much more obviously a cufflink.
Yes.
But whatever.
But for those at home listening, we're talking about Mrs. Lingard.
Yes.
Yes. That's Miss Lingard.
While they're still with Jap, Jap discovers the will that
yes.
says Ruth and Vanda will split everything 50-50 in the event of his death. But they also find a second will, a newer will, which stipulates that Vanda will get all of the inheritance if Ruth and Hugo do not marry.
Right.
Ooh.
And that is not signed.
That will wasn't signed, so it's not valid.
So they go to check out Northgate Investments, which is John Lake's company.
Okay, they do go straight there.
What I believe so, and if they don't,
Where is
Okay.
there?
what?
The development property. Like the offices where John Lake, I keep saying John Blake. John Lake is supposed to be, getting these properties developed. And that's where they find like those models of
Yes.
buildings and things of that nature. They're checking up on Chevernix's theory that he was being frauded by John. So they go to
Right.
investigate that. And while they're looking at the these models of like these, seems like these row of houses that they want to develop somewhere, Hastings starts to smell smoke. They go
Yeah.
investigate and find that there is in fact an inferno happening in this building, and they find John Lake unconscious on the floor. Poirot calls for Jap.
And
Go
we
ahead,
get one of the
Tristan.
best line deliveries. And he goes, "What?" Basically. It's like, what is it now?
Yeah, and they make a
And then
big
blimey, and they takes off down the hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they rescue John Lake and get out of the building, and then the building explodes, and they're all coughing.
Oh, I
A
was
lot.
living for it.
Yeah, it was very good coughing acting. And yeah. So
We get the second, good Lord, from Hastings.
Yes, we do.
it's very good. Good indeed.
And then
And so John thanks Poirot for, saving his life and stuff. And he kind of admits that he was stuck and he wanted to get rid of the evidence. So he was just trying to like burn up the models that he was working on, but accidentally exploded the entire building and set it off at the wrong time. Like you do,
Yes.
I guess.
yeah. And this is at a hospital.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
And
because he is
then
pretty injured.
yeah. And then what is her name again?
Ruth.
Ruth shows up and
Baby Ruth.
she's like, I want to see John, and Jap is like, well, it's family only. And she goes, well, I'm his wife. And everyone's like, Zoot to Lord.
Yeah.
And it is now a good time for an ad break?
It is.
Probably, but
Okay, Tyler.
what would you call a maker of zoot suits?
I don't know what, Tyler.
A zoot tailor.
Oh my God. That's actually very
That-
good.
I like
You should
that a
submit
lot.
that to Laffy
Yeah.
Taffy.
That's yes. That is the place for that joke. Laffy Taffy.
Yes. Oh, that's very good. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the break. I'm still here. I don't know if you are. I mean, you are if you're listening. This is going well. We're on the Scavenger Network. You can go to scavengernetwork.com, peruse all of their great content. A lot of podcasts. They just dropped some merch. I believe they do that monthly, so they got new merch going on. You can listen to... They have a variety of podcasts. They have Historical Hotties, which rates historical figures by how sexy they are. You got Spooky Spouses, which is just about spooky stuff. You got Newsies Minute, where they talk about newsies. There's a lot of different kinds of content on the network. So go check out scavengersnetwork.com for your entertainment today. You can buy merch that I've made. Please do. I'm still unemployed. So please do. You can go to the link in the show notes, or you're going to go to teespring.com/themill with hyphens between. So it's the-mill. We just got some Order and Method merch, which I made, which I'm very proud of. And we all have mugs, and you can go to our Instagram to see a photo of them. Speaking of, Melissa, take it away.
Yes, you should go to our Instagram and follow us at ADC Pod. We are also on Twitter and Facebook. You can again find that at ADC Pod. And we have a Facebook group. Just answer those questions and join the discussion about the podcast.
Have you ever looked into a mirror and thought, how can anyone respect you? Well, you can change all that right now by going to patreon.com/ADCpod. For less than $10 a month, you can receive bonus episodes and content. Head over to patreon.com/ADCpod today.
And as legally obligated, Rich is in the room, isn't he?
He sure is.
Does he want to say it?
Hey, Rich.
What's that, Melissa?
Do you want to come say your thing that we say every
Very
episode
special
now?
Message.
You want me to say butt soup?
Say it in the microphone, babe.
And there it is, folks.
Butt soup.
There you go.
Thank you so much for
All
your
right, and go ahead.
constant support. Yes, Tyler.
One final bit of business. If you follow Virtual Studio Players on Facebook, you can get the information you need to see me, Tyler Riley, in my first mystery called Bloody Jack by Tim Kelly. It will stream on October 18th at 3 p.m. on Zoom. To get that link, follow Virtual Studio Players on Facebook.com.
Heck
I
yeah.
have one more bit of business. Number one, congratulations, Tyler. That sounds very fun.
Thank
I will
you.
do my best to tune in.
Mm-hmm.
Also, news that dropped yesterday.
Oh, yes!
Famed British actor David Suchet is to be knighted for over 50 years of service as an actor in England. So congratulations to soon-to-be Sir David Suchet.
I saw that news and I was like, sushi, yay! Okay. Am I right?
Exactly right.
We're in the parlor for the reveal.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually in the office.
Right.
And Poirot was like, y'all, none of this makes sense. None of it.
Right.
He couldn't have shot himself with his left hand, so someone shot him because he would have turned to see someone. I turned so away from the mic. Someone was like tapped him on the shoulder. He turned, got shot with a silencer, and it hit the gong because the door was open.
Yeah.
And then someone.
And he has Hastings demonstrating this for him.
100%. It's very funny. It's très dramatique. And then someone smashed the mirror, making it look like the bullet would have gone into there, and the angle would have been fine. I don't remember the door situation.
So the door was open, so it hit the gong in the hallway, made the gong real loud, and then they were like, "Ah, crap." And they closed and locked the door from the inside, put the key in his pocket, and then took a statue, I guess, and smashed the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
To make it.
Yes, and then left through the garden doors that they could lock from the outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Through trickery.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, so they wanted to make it seem like the gong was, just hit, and it had nothing to do with the gunshot.
The car backfiring. Yeah.
Right.
When things gong wrong.
Exactly.
Are you familiar with the Gong Show format?
I was saving that for my review, but now I can't. But it's fine.
No, I'll cut this out and then you can save it. Murder's Gone Wild. Yeah, that's funny. So who does Poirot accuses Ruth? Is it?
Yes. Poirot accuses Ruth, saying, "Listen, you couldn't marry who you wanted to marry. You were going to be disinherited if you didn't marry Hugo. Hugo didn't want to marry you. You didn't want to marry Hugo. Everyone wanted to marry somebody else. No one was going to get their money. And so you did it. Case closed."
And she says, "That's a pack of lies." And he says, "That's up to the court to decide, which is important." And then they just kind of let her drive herself off home. They don't
that was kind of confusing.
They don't arrest her.
I don't know.
And
However,
I mean, she is upper class.
Yeah, that is true. She's landed gentry.
Right.
So then it cuts to Poirot, Hastings, and Jap all sitting in a car. And Jap goes, "You better be right about this, Poirot." And it's like, when has he never not?
I know, yeah. Seriously. And I guess the times we don't see. No, he's always right. So then we get a scene, which is great. The best scene. Well, it's actually pretty upsetting. But
yes,
there's a scene where we hear a voice telling Vanda that, she has to confess. She has to write a letter confessing and then hang herself. And there's a noose hanging, in the shadows.
Noose on the loose.
Yeah, there's a noose on the loose. It's terrifying. And she is basically saying that she's her spirit guide and she's got to confess to the murder and then die by suicide. It's real grim, and Vanda is very disturbed and very spooked by the whole thing. And then Poirot busts in and says, "Ha! I have caught you red-handed. What do you think you are doing, Miss?"
He swings open like a cupboard or something, like a closet where the disembodied voice is coming from. No, it's not a closet. It's to another room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you can open I guess Western style doors and lean over and be like, "Hey folks, whatever."
Oh, I thought it was just for voyeurs.
I hardly know hers. That one works.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he catches who red-handed?
Miss Lingard.
Mm-hmm. And he goes, "I know you were gonna try something. And then Jap finishes his sentence like a married couple and goes, but this is despicable. And it is. It truly is.
So Miss Lingard basically has done the whole murder. And Donna...
Why half murder two things when you can whole murder one?
Murder one.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And
Can that be on a mug?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's basically either, this was unclear to me. She is, and I don't think she is the actual mother of Ruth Chevenix, but she's come to think of her kind of as a daughter. And Miss Lingard has lost a child. So, has taken this maternal feeling about Ruth.
Interesting, because I didn't question her being, not the mother.
Same. But I like your interpretation better.
Yeah, same here.
It makes more sense.
Yeah, I thought that was it. I mean, I suppose she could have been her mother, but...
I thought she was just weaseling her way back because, Chevenix didn't know the woman that his brother had relations with.
Yes, because she's like, yes, I am.
She was a typist, but...
Yeah, she goes, I was what was known as a love child at the beginning of the episode. So I believe it is her actual biological mother that lost contact and then found her.
Oh. Well, Either way, she is either Ruth's mother or feels very maternal over her. I'm pretty sure she's the mother. I think that's right now that I'm thinking about it. But so she wants to protect her at all costs and doesn't want her to be disinherited for marrying, the person she actually wants to marry. So she, put together this whole elaborate scheme and had, when it kind of went wrong and Poirot accused Ruth anyway, she had to resort to desperate measures, thereby, revealing herself. And what happened with Vanda is that Vanda actually picked up the bullet in the hallway and put it in her talisman necklace. So, she was trying to play upon, I believe, the guilt of that. But yes. So that's who done it. It was her. And we get this last shot of Poirot with the shadow of the noose, and that's the end of the episode for some reason.
Very spooky.
Yeah.
Who noose?
No noose is good news.
Yeah.
That is true.
Mm-hmm. What?
May I start it off?
Please do.
It doesn't change my rating at all, but the more I think about it, the more I'm into Melissa's ABC's dinosaurs theory about the parentage of Ruth.
So you just said words that I know separately, but together.
Oh, are you familiar with ABC's Dinosaurs?
Oh,
was a
I'm the baby,
series,
gotta love me?
Not the mama.
Not the mama. See, yeah. I know those two things, and that is it. But when you said ABC's Dinosaurs, I'm like, oh, a children's show where you learn ABCs with dinosaurs.
Oh, sorry. No, I meant the channel ABC's series Dinosaurs.
Yeah. I'm the baby,
AKA
gotta love me.
Not the mama.
Not the mama.
Not the mama.
And this episode gave me Poirot meets Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. And I was here for every single second of it.
I need you to explain that. I'm so sorry.
We got explosions and fire in this episode.
Okay. It's Hobbs and Shaw, but it's just Poirot and Hastings. That's so
As long as
dumb.
Roman Reigns is still in it, I would watch that. I want to see David Suchet and Hugh Fraser read the scripts of Hobbs and Shaw aloud. All other casting stays the same.
That's so good.
But I thought all the performances were very strong. I thought the mystery was well crafted. I love that it made it look like it was about money, but it was really revenge. And I was here for it. 5 out of 5.
I agree with everything Tyler has said.
All right,
Okay.
Melissa, your turn.
That's
Basically, yeah, it was. I loved how spooky it was. I loved the soundtrack. It was so weird, and I did not see the mystery coming. 5 out of 5.
Straight 5 out of 5.
Yes!
All of us.
Yeah.
This is peak Poirot. It's super strange. It's well acted.
Yeah, no complaints.
Yeah.
Good mystery. Nice to look at and weird AF. And I loved everything about it. Great episode. Would recommend.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if the season closer is as strong.
Closer.
Yes. So next we have is this the finale? Is that right? The next one?
Yeah,
Yes.
this is the Series 5 finale.
Okay. An 8 episode
We're booking through this.
Yeah. 8 episode series. Why
And
the
then
heck
from
not?
here on, it's the mini movies until the end.
Really?
Oh boy.
Yeah, this is the last season of episodes as we know them.
All right. Well, strap in, folks.
Yeah.
We're gonna have
Tristan,
2-hour
strap in.
episodes.
Yeah. Okay, so we are going to be watching Jewel Robbery at the Grand Metropolitan, which is while Poirot vacations in Brighton to boost his health, the beautiful pearl necklace of a theater actress staying at his hotel is mysteriously stolen.
It's based off of a short story I really like and is really fun from what I can remember. I now call this meeting of the Amateur Detective Club to a close.
Gavel sound.
Don't know why we do that.